Hi, everybody, and welcome to Module 4. This will be our walkthrough on Module 4 so that you can go ahead and get started with what we are doing. So click on that content button and then scroll down to Module 4, Dissecting Arguments, Part 2. So as you can see in this module, we will continue to work on arguments. Go ahead and click on the module overview first. And once you're there, it'll give you an introduction to the rest of the material that we're going to be talking about on arguments. And you'll have a chance this week to compose an argumentative milestone. So think about the work that you did last week on arguments and reflect on specifically assignment 2 and how that went for you. So we're going to start by reflecting on that, and then we're going to continue to think about audience and content and how to most effectively achieve the writing purpose. So when you're working on your argument, you will think about the Toulmin method, the Rogerian method, and the classical method, those styles of argument, and what you think you did well with each of those styles and what you think might help you to compose the milestone. So you'll notice in the introduction that it says that we're going to create expert panels in small groups. We're not going to have any specific group area to discuss arguments other than our regular discussion board. So I just wanted to point that out to you in case you got confused and thought that you would be assigned to a group. We're not doing that. So it'll just be a regular discussion. If you scroll down, you can see that those competencies are there. You may want to take a chance to review the competencies if you haven't looked over them in a little while, and then you can click the next button. That next button will take us, of course, to the module activities section. And you'll see here that it also says group text analysis. So again, we won't be working in a group other than our regular discussion board. So don't get too confused about that. There are some materials that you'll be taking a look through to help you with applying argument styles. There's an argument analysis worksheet that you can use and a graphic organizer, and that'll help you get started on how to compose milestone 2. You'll also notice it says milestone 2 exemplars. Those are the samples of what a completed milestone 2 will look like. And I'll also post some samples later in the week of actual students from previous classes that have completed this milestone successfully, so you can get an idea of what you're aiming for. So make sure that you've clicked on all of those links under the materials section and completing the reading. You'll see that there's some reading material from our Module 3 that you're going to also need for Module 4, and the links are posted here for you in this module activities section. If you scroll down, you'll see there's some other helpful resources that are not required. But again, if you take a look through these resources, you may find it easier to understand the assignments, put them together, and you'll have better success at composing the milestone. So continue to scroll down. You'll see that rubric for our milestone to use as a checklist and the module outcomes. You can go ahead and click on that next button, and that will take us to our discussion on text analysis. So we're going to be analyzing a text in this discussion. You're going to choose one of the texts below, and the links were in the module activities sections for each of these readings. And then you're going to do some role playing. So if you scroll down and take a look, you're going to have the opportunity to choose what you would like to post about the reading that you choose. So for example, if you choose Beyonce's Lemonade, you will then select whether or not you want to play the author, the historian, the biographer, or the challenger. And there are different pieces to do depending on which role you choose. If you choose the author, you're going to role play that you're the author of the text. So this is going to be studying the close textly to gain an understanding of it. And then you're going to pretend that you're the author and you're going to talk about your motivations for writing the piece. If you act as the historian, now remember, you only have to choose one of these to post in your discussion, then you're going to do a little research and find out about the time period and the historical context in which the piece was written. And you're going to give your classmates some details on that because, of course, history informs the way writers write. You could also choose the biographer role, in which case you would be responsible for finding out about the author's personal life. So you'd be doing some research, for example, on Beyonce to find out, what motivates them, what happened in their life that might have caused them to create a piece like this. What is their background, their childhood, their, what have they done predominantly that informed this piece that they wrote? You could also choose the role of the challenger. And so you're going to, of course, be responsible for knowing the text, but you're going to represent the opposing view of the author. So here you have an opportunity to give some counter arguments for the piece that you read. So you're actually going to have to understand the argument in order to challenge it. This might be a great way to prepare for the argumentative writing that you'll be doing in Milestone 2. So you don't actually have to personally disagree to take on this role. Really, you could agree or disagree, but just play devil's advocate. That'll be due on Wednesday, of course, with your replies to your classmates due on Sunday. Go ahead and click the next button, and that will take us to the Module 4 Assignment 1 Informal Writing Assignment. And of course, we're completing these in order to practice our writing, both formally and informally, as we prepare for the more formal writing challenges that we have. So to prepare for this assignment, you'll see that you're going to read and annotate the day the purpose of college changed. So that's the preparation piece. And then you're going to choose one of these options, and you're going to respond to them. And then you'll be uploading that into the Dropbox. So option 1, what are your takeaways from the piece? Do you agree with the writer? If yes, why? If not, why not? Give a few examples, cite the piece for us, and, present your evidence for why you agree or disagree. Option 2 would be, what are your honest thoughts about the American school system, particularly college? So detail your thoughts on curriculum, the length of the day-to-day course, the number of years to obtain a degree, costs, loans, grants. You don't have to cover all of these things, but just maybe touch on some things that are important to you here. Option 3 is that if you had to choose an alternative to college, what would it be? Here you're going to explain why this would be your choice and how it would differ from a regular college curriculum and the day-to-day courses. How long would this alternative take to do? What would the costs be? This is to allow you to sort of compare this alternative to the actual act of going to college to see, what the right choice is for you. You may have done some of this work already before you decided to come to National Louis University or Kendall College. And then you can go ahead and click the next button, and you will see that we will be working on Milestone 2. Milestone 2 is, of course, a persuasive piece. And so you can choose a nonfiction selection from the readings in Module 3 and 4. Just one selection. You won't be covering all the readings. So you're going to create an analysis paper that communicates the main message, and you'll write that main message in a persuasive thesis. And then you're going to analyze specific textual evidence and quote that evidence that supports the main idea that you're presenting. So you'll see here under the submit area, you're going to be writing a clear thesis that states the main idea, the argument that you're making, and then you'll collect some specific quotes that support that thesis idea. And so you'll use that thesis sentence to create the body of your paper. So if you construct your thesis sentence with your argument and then your reasons for that argument, then each reason for the argument can inform a body paragraph or several body paragraphs. And you'll be seeing a sample of that when I post some samples, and you can also see the sample in the exemplars link that I pointed out to you under module activities. So in addition to identifying the main point, I just want you to note here that you're going to be identifying the target audience, taking a position, talking about whether you agree or disagree. It's optional to include some historical or biographical context in your paper. If you're going to include that, you would include a little bit of that in your introduction to introduce us to the topic. And of course, we will be using APA citation. So if you scroll down, you'll see some helpful tips for composing, and look specifically at the fine print, and you'll know that we are writing another 1,000 word essay, which is typically 4 double-spaced pages. And if you want, you can include a process page. That's optional. We'll be using Times New Roman, Calibri, or Arial. So just, some of the same things that you've already done. Those are those additional resources down here. You've seen some of them before. And that will help you to create a successful milestone too. And as you may have noted last week, I posted that you can revise any of your milestones, and that we're going to be doing some peer review on all of our milestones. So you may want to wait to revise until after you've had my feedback and your peer feedback. And you can, of course, post those revisions at any point before the end of the term. Just as long as they're posted by the last day of the term, you'll be fine. And that pretty much wraps up what we're going to be doing in Module 4. I hope you have a great week.